Oh, for heaven's sakes, we've switched from that hockey game. We are in Aspen. We went out to visit Jerry, and as we speak, we are in a field digging up worms to go fishing with. There's Jerry, and while we were there in that field, I'm standing there watching you people do worms, and suddenly I feel something on my leg. Oh, Jim, I'm going to throw up. Good grief. I'm standing there, and I stood on an anthole, and suddenly I had ants all over me. But we went on this picnic, and Jerry gets a frying pan out. Look at you boys in your waders going through the water. I said to Jerry, well, where's the potato salad and the Wonder Bread and the cookies? She brought a frying pan and a coffee pot. And she caught the fish, or all of you caught the fish. And then we fried them right there. And I'm telling you, it was delicious. That was beautiful. Jerry was the first woman tour guide in Colorado. And she had this four-wheel drive Jeep, I suppose it was. And I believe this was the time that we brought Danny's, and sure it was, Danny's motorbike with us. We borrowed Bud's van to go out there, and we got all the way to across the river into St. Charles and realized there's Jerry, that we didn't have the key to the mini bike. So we had to turn around, go back and get the key, start all over, went out there. Dan got on that mini bike once while we were on the trail with the 2,000-foot drop-off. And here was just a gravel road. And I watched it for about 3 minutes, and I said, that's it. I'm going to have a nervous breakdown if we leave that kid on that. I could see him flying right over the edge. So that was the extent after dealing with all of that. But she took us to a place called, I believe, Mirror Lake. Holy cow! Now we're back to the ski slopes. This must be Aspen. Okay, and this would have been in about 76 when we took Bud's van, and Peter was a baby, and we all went out to, that's Jim coming off the hill. This is Dan, and let's see now, Tim never quite got into the skiing. We kind of thought he probably would, but can you believe however 10 of us, I guess there were, including baby Peter, stayed in that, I think that was me doing a big jump. And if I said it was, whoops, there goes Dad. He's chasing after me all the time. What are you going to do? But remember when we went into that lodge? Oh my gosh, look at that turnaround. And we all took a shower, and the man came in and he said, would you mind not all taking a shower at the same time? You used all the hot water. The next morning we go down they always had coffee and hot chocolate and donuts. Well, we hit those donuts like we do anything, and we were supposed to have only taken 2 donuts. There's Jerry, my cousin Jerry Hopgood, who is a ski instructor, and she was wonderful teaching all you boys how to ski. There comes one of you. I don't think I skied much that time. Let's see, now that looks like, was that one of you boys? And that's Dan. Whoops! You did so good till you just got there, Dan. And Jim, this looks like. Maybe that, no. There's Danny. Is that Pat, maybe? That's Pat Hopgood, who is my cousin. And she and her husband were out there at the same time. This is Dan, it looks like. Here comes Jim down the slopes. I remember I was going up on the ski lift at one point, and I hear somebody yell, Mom, and I turn around and you guys are skiing under the ski lift in powder snow. Another time I almost had a fit. You guys had no fear of anything. I don't think Dave ever got too excited about skiing, nor did Tom. But oh, Dan and Dave did, and of course, all of that ice skating experience certainly helped in the coordination with skiing, I would think. Whoops, who was that? That was Dave. You did darn good, Dave. Okay, now here comes somebody. Yes, that's Dan. Our Dad. I think that was Dad. And there's Pat. Now, see, she did it like you're supposed to. If you want to be a show-off, why'd we take a picture of her? That looks like Dave and Dan. And there's Pat. She was doing that snow walking or whatever you call it, which I just thought was cool. Whoops, I think that was... Oh, that looks like Dan. And here comes Jim, I bet. Oh, yeah, that's Daddy. You can always tell his farm. He really enjoyed that. Yeah, that's Dad. I recognize that shirt. Okay. Okay, and we're sidestepping up the hill now. Is that work or what? Yeah, there's Dave in the background, I think. Here comes Pat again. Why did we take so many pictures of her showing how it's done? But that was neat. We went out. In fact, we were there on Christmas. We went out about 3 or 4 days before Christmas and spent Christmas with Pearl and Jerry. And I remember when we got there, Aunt Pearl had chili made for us. We found out afterwards it was made out of deer meat. Thank heavens we didn't know ahead of time. Now that was pretty good. Was that Jim or Dan? That was Jim. Look at that. I'm telling you. There's Pat again. I think maybe that wasn't Pat. I think that was me. From now on, it's me. If we're going to show any more of her. There it goes. That might be Pat's husband. Her old husband. It isn't the one she has now. She's got a different one now. So many people do. I think that was Dad that just got passed by half the people on the slope. Yeah, that was Dad. There's Danny. I wonder how much we spent on that trip now that I think about it. Lord have mercy. But it was cool. By this time, Dad was in the brokerage business, and things were a little better, I think. But that was a fun trip. Jim, I still feel bad. That was that trip that everybody went up to some bar, and you weren't old enough, and you were going to sneak in anyway. And I said, Jim, you can't go in there. You're not 21. And I tell you, you gave me a look that could have killed me. But I do want you to know I still feel bad.